The mayor, the leader of the hamlet, or more specifically Kasoka Village. He is the person who raised Velou, essentially acting as his father figure. However, at the start of the manga, the mayor died to a werewolf, one disguised as an old granny, no doubt a reference to the Little Red Riding Hood. This was evident from the mayor's trusted axe being left behind, and the presence of bones in the house where the werewolf currently resided. Due to the mayor's supposed death, Velou was faced with two decisions: cower in sorrow and succumb to the werewolf, or fight in a desperate attempt to survive against all odds. Of course, being the main character, we know exactly what Velou was going to do: fight, of course, and not only did he help Grimm kill one werewolf, he helped to kill two more afterwards, which isn't bad going if you ask me. After this, Lycaon and Cinderella appeared in Kasoka Village, and proceeded to burn it down. This forced Velou to leave the hamlet behind and become a hunter at the Hunters Guild. However, without the destruction of his village, Velou was intending to stay in the hamlet and continue by taking up the mayor's mantle. Then, in chapter 7, it was revealed that in fact the mayor was not dead. Instead, he was allied with Lycaon and Cinderella, and the rest of the Red List for that matter. Of course, it all makes sense looking back on it. The mayor's axe was left behind, and his body was nowhere to be seen. The bones found in the little house where the werewolf was hiding was probably the granny's husband before she ate him, and not the mayor. After all, the bones were stated to belong to a 70-year-old male. So, with that said, what is the mayor's true objective? Well, in this video I'm going to try and analyse all the information given in chapters 1 to 11 of the manga in an attempt to deduce the mayor's intentions. So, with that said, let's get into it. In chapter 7 and 8, we see that the mayor is allied with Lycaon and Cinderella. Lycaon says that although the mayor and the Red List are allied, the mayor is simply a tool to be used by them. To understand the mayor's intentions, first we need to understand the Red List's intentions in order to see how the mayor's plans differ. Cinderella and Lycaon stated in chapter 5 that they want a world without humans, one in which there will be so many monsters that they will completely displace humans from the world altogether. We see in the first chapter that there are numerous races of monsters, from witches, werewolves, all the way up to dragons. Now, the last dragon was stated to have been killed 500 years ago. What this suggests is that there has been some form of oppression, with the humans likely fighting and killing monsters for centuries, all in an attempt to eradicate all threats to mankind. Due to this, the monsters have had to remain in hiding, afraid of being killed off by the humans. This is why Cinderella said that the Red List are now on the move again, suggesting that the Red List and monsters in general had to stop moving and remain inactive for a period of time, probably due to the presence of humans. Therefore, what could be so important that the Red List would want to suddenly make a move again, to suddenly make an appearance? Well, the answer probably lies in Kasoka Village, where Velou is from. In chapter 4, Lycaon and Cinderella appear in Kasoka Village. Lycaon actually says, "So, this is Kasoka Village," showing that he knows the name of the village. Why would he know the name of a hamlet and village that's literally in the middle of nowhere unless there was something special about it? Next, Grimm mentions in her fight against Lycaon and Cinderella that they shouldn't be here, it's not normal. After her fight, she adds up the facts that she knows so far. 1. The mayor's axe was made of wolfonium, something only the Hunters Guild has access to. 2. The werewolves show up revealing their true forms haphazardly, almost as if they wanted to be noticed. And 3. The whole village is destroyed, forcing Grimm to take Velou to the guild. Therefore, something must be in the hamlet, something important, which is why the Red List showed up there. Later on in chapter 8, we also see that Cinderella is complaining to the mayor, saying that Grimm is no dummy. She may report what's transpired to the guild, and they may find out about the hamlet. Well, find out what, I wonder? This suggests furthermore that something is hidden within Kasoka Village. Well, in chapter 7, Lycaon states that Velou is not the star to the mayor. He's merely a stand-in. Cinderella adds that Despite Velou being a stand-in, everything is riding on him, suggesting that Velou is integral in ensuring the Red List plan succeeds. Then Cinderella comments on how hard the mayor has worked to raise Velou, almost as if it's a shame that Velou is now part of their plan. From this exchange between Cinderella, Lycaon and the mayor, we can gather 3 important pieces of information. 1. The Red List are after a star. 2. Velou is not the star and is merely a stand-in. And 3. It's a shame that Velou is a stand-in after the mayor has worked so hard to raise him. To examine Cinderella's words even further, why would it be a shame that Velou is part of the Red List plan? Well, it's because Velou is probably going to be a sacrifice. Yes, Velou is going to be a sacrifice, likely to be sacrificed to revive the Monster King, or something along the lines of that. The Monster King would be the key, the one being strong enough to eradicate all humans and grant freedom to the monsters, a harbinger of chaos. This would explain why Cinderella said that their plan is riding on Velou, and it's a shame after the mayor has worked so hard to raise him. After all, it would mean all of the time the mayor spent with Velou was going to go to waste if Velou died, and this explains why the mayor looks seriously angry after that comment from Cinderella. Because again, Velou is like a son to the mayor. Now, Lycaon, in the same conversation, also said that Velou is merely a stand-in. This suggests that Cinderella and Lycaon did not achieve their goals in Kasoka Village, meaning they were actually after someone or something else in the hamlet, but that person/thing was not there, so they had to settle with Velou. As readers, we know that the Red List were actually after the star. This means that Velou is not the star the Red List are seeking. The Red List are likely searching for the real star to use to awaken the Monster King, or summon monsters, but for whatever the reason is, the role of the star has to be something that Velou can achieve on his own, otherwise he wouldn't be a stand-in. This is where the mayor's plan comes into play. The mayor was actually the person who planned and commanded the 3 werewolves to attack his own hamlet. He acted on his own and went against the Red List's wishes. Cinderella said that the mayor could have handled the situation at the hamlet in about a dozen different ways, so why did the mayor go off on his own accord and have the werewolves attack? On top of this, previously, the mayor was actually training Velou to be a knight. Yes, secretly when Velou was chopping wood for the mayor, using the Wolfonium axe I might add, the mayor was actually having Velou doing knight training drills. This was revealed by Grimm in chapter 6. Now, we also know that the mayor used to be part of the Hunters Guild, and this point will be important in a moment. Lastly, the mayor planned for Grimm to appear in the hamlet. He wanted Grimm specifically to be the one to kill the 3 werewolves he himself had planted in the village. As I mentioned earlier, in chapter 4, Cinderella and Lycaon appeared in the hamlet to retrieve the star. However, in chapter 8, Cinderella said that she was worried that Grimm may find out about the hamlet. This means that Cinderella and the Red List do not want the Hunters Guild to know about the star at all costs. With that said, when Cinderella and Lycaon appeared in the village, all of a sudden Grimm was there. This meant they couldn't retrieve the star like they originally intended to. In order to prevent Grimm from figuring out the secret behind the hamlet, Cinderella was forced to burn the hamlet down, trying to get rid of Grimm as quickly as possible before Grimm had a chance to figure out what was really hidden within the hamlet. However, this was all just a part of the mayor's plan. He wanted to conceal the location of the star. He knew that if Grimm was in the hamlet, then Cinderella and Lycaon would be forced to burn down the village to stop the Hunters Guild from finding out about the star. This also meant that Cinderella and Lycaon had to retreat as well. Next, he wanted Velou to leave the hamlet and become a hunter. Grimm said in chapter 6 that it's suspicious that the hamlet was burnt down. Grimm just happened to be there to take Velou to the Hunters Guild. After all, in Velou's mind, the mayor is still dead, and now that the village is destroyed, he has nowhere else to go. Without this, Velou would not leave the hamlet unless it was burnt down. Velou even refused to leave after the werewolves attacked the village, and the threat of more was still present. The mayor needed Velou to leave the hamlet and become a hunter, I'll explain why this is important in a moment, but anyways. The mayor had to resort to planning attacks on his own hamlet and requesting Grimm to defend against such attacks in order to get the results he wanted. This is why he didn't handle the situation in a dozen different ways, like Cinderella wanted him to. Now, at first glance, it may seem that the mayor was doing this to protect Velou from the red list. However, he probably has his own agenda. There's got to be a reason why the mayor wants Velou to become a hunter and leave the hamlet. Information is limited, but I've come up with 3 theories so far. First theory is that the mayor was a hunter. He hates monsters and wants to destroy them from the inside out. He's too old and weak, so he wants Velou to succeed him in his mission. The second theory is that he wants Velou to become the person who will bridge the gap between monsters and humans. After all, Velou did show anger when one werewolf ate his own brother, suggesting that Velou has the ability to feel compassion for the werewolves and monsters despite their differences. If only there was a way to stop the fighting between monsters and humans, then perhaps the two opposing sides can come to terms with each other. The third theory is that the mayor is actually going to sacrifice Velou, but not for the same reasons as the Red List. The mayor may summon a different entity. Rather than the Monster King, perhaps the mayor may have a deceased wife or child, who is a monster or half monster themselves. He may want to trade Velou's life in exchange for his own family members. Now, we know for a fact that the mayor is, without a doubt, manipulating Velou. I mean, Velou literally remembered in chapter 6 that the mayor said to him that Velou was going to be the one to achieve a certain goal, and he remembered this during a dream. Now, despite everything I've said, there are still a few inconsistencies I would like to address. Firstly, we still don't know what the star is. I've assumed that it's a sacrifice to revive the Monster King, but I could be completely wrong. Another inconsistency is that the mayor has put a lot of time and energy into raising Velou, training him to secretly become a hunter, and then planning the attack on his own hamlet, just so that Velou would be forced to become a hunter. This would be pointless if Velou was going to be a sacrifice, so there must be a catch, a reason why Velou must become a hunter. Perhaps Velou is the star, but he needs to be awakened before he can be used in the mayor's plan as a sacrifice. So in conclusion, the mayor planned the attacks on the hamlet and then requested Grimm from the Hunters Guild, all in order to protect Velou from the Red List and to hide the location of the star. He then plans to use Velou either as his own sacrifice to bring back a deceased loved one, or to have Velou become the star and kill all the monsters, saving humanity, or to have Velou become the one individual who can bring an end to the disparity between monsters and humans. As more chapters are released, I'm going to revisit this theory and make a new video with the updated information we receive. Again, this is literally just a few theories that I've come up with. It could all be completely wrong. So if you have any theories of your own, feel free to let me know in the comments, as I'd love to hear them. With that said, thank you all for watching, it is much appreciated. If you'd please be able to leave a like if you enjoyed the video as well, that would be great, as it will help my channel grow. Well then, that's about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.